Welcome folks, Flying Doctor here, hope you're doing okay. Microsoft Flight Simulator 2020 Sim Update 10 brought two great additions to the sim among others. Firstly, the ability to use multiple windows, and secondly, Nvidia's DLSS Deep Learning Super Sampling to increase your frame rates. Does it work? Well, come in right up and have a look, but in the meantime, just to get those tasters going, here's my three screens, one straight ahead. I'm looking across at the co-pilot and I'm also looking out my right hand window, all at the same time. Folks, welcome to the Flying Doctor channel. Greetings everyone, Flying Doctor here, hope you're doing okay. I thought it'd be really helpful to look at the new capability within Microsoft Flight Simulator 2020 at using multiple monitors. And I had a look at this last night, couldn't quite work out why I was dropping huge frames as soon as I put on a third monitor. Obviously I was expecting to see a difference. But I suddenly sat bolt upright in bed and realised my mistake. So here's the first thing. I'm going to run this through quickly and we'll have a look as we go about how the multiple windows affects the sim. First thing is to understand that if you're going to use the multiple windows, you need to make sure that all of the monitors that are going to use the facility are on your graphics card, which sounds obvious, but it's easy to miss. Let me just show you. So I'm going to go, and of course this facility I use at Nvidia, and I'm going to go to the Nvidia control panel here, and I'll show you a quick way to see what's attached. So here we are, I'm at my control panel, and I've clicked change resolution, but that just gives me an understanding of which monitors I've got. And if you can't remember, you know, whether you've got all the monitors you need, looking at the resolution might be helpful, because my upper ones are lower resolution. So I can see that attached to my graphics card, I've got AVDT CG573. That is the streaming card, capture card. I've got Asus VP28U, that's a 4K monitor, and then I found out I've got this Vizio 230WS, and you can see, if I click on that down here, you can see that's 1920 by 1080, and I happen to know those aren't these two monitors are the ones I wanted to push out for flight simulation, but this one is a bit erroneous. When I set things up, clearly I was just wanting to make sure that I got an image through each of the monitors. Using Microsoft Flight Simulator originally, I had no intention, no thought that we might get to multiple monitors set up. So yeah, so just check that. Across the whole, you just need to make sure that you've got your three monitors that you're going to use, or your two monitors, plugged into the graphics card. Newbie mistake number one. Right, so I've made some corrections here. It wasn't as painful as I thought it would be. Thoughts for you as you're perhaps struggling behind the back of your computer. But here is on the settings that we've got here. Here's my system. So I've got three monitors here. This one's a 4K TV in the middle, and the ones on the left and the right are 4K monitors. They are all wired in to the graphics card, and on the top are the monitors wired in to the motherboard, effectively with Intel drivers. And so if I just click here, you can see this. There's a change. I'm hoping you can see this. So left hand side AVGC GC573. It's not in the screen order. That I know is my capture card. VP28U and MG28U are both 4K monitors. So now we've got the graphics card outputting to all of the screens that we're going to want to use with Flight Simulator. As I say, newbie mistake, but easy to make, especially if you jumped across to Flight Simulator and you've thought, well, we're only going to get one screen anyway, and so you're not fussed about where all your other cables go. So I'm going to jump back into the sim. Just a hint, it's plastered all over the advice, but when you install the update, it's well worth switching off all of your add-ons. I use Microsoft Flight Simulator add-ons linker. I've started to add my add-ons back in, haven't really had any problems at all. And what I've done, as you can see on the, might be able to see on the left here, is that I'm got my Orbix sceneries in there if you happen to use Orbix. The reason for that is I want to be somewhere that's quite demanding for scenery, so we can look and see what the impact of three monitors is going to be. So I'm just going to start up the sim now. Okay, so let me show you how you achieve this. So I've gone from the main page to the option page. As you can see here, there's the welcome screen. Onto options, go to general options, go down to experimental, and you'll find this set of dialogues here. I'm not sure what the NaN OVG mode is, but it's switched to on. So we'll talk about that later. But crucially, you've got a button here and it says add new render window. So that's exactly what we're going to do. We're going to click on the button and you'll see that a dialog box comes up underneath. Now, because I have set this up before, it's returned to the settings it previously had. And actually, that part of the exercise, Microsoft Flight Simulator does brilliantly well. But you see I've got an option for my windows. Now I'm running in 4K and really pushing things at the moment. Okay, I'm in the hangar. But what I should be able to do is change the resolution here. Now, unless I'm doing something wrong, when I try and change the resolution, first bug, or something that is just not intuitive at all, is if I move to 1920 by 1080, although it appears on the screen, it doesn't appear in the window. So let's just go back to basics first. When you get this dialog screen, it will automatically produce a second window. Unfortunately, what I would say is also make sure that it is windowed. Sounds obvious, but certainly unless you put it in windowed, you'll find that you're going to have real big problems separating the two windows. Now, as I say, I've done this before and it's positioned the window where it was, but what you do is you have a second window. Here it is here. I'm bringing it back, that would appear. Now, if you're using Windows 11, if you hover over the Microsoft Flight Simulator button for the app, you'll see it's got window 1 and it's got the option screen. So you can move to window 1 and click on that to see it, to make it live. And then with this window, you can put that where you want. So I'm going to put it on the left side here, and I'm just going to double click it. Bearing in mind, and I have put it down as 1920 by 1080, but this is one of the things that's not working as far as I can see. It's not sticking with that. You can notice that you may well have noticed a frame drop as soon as we created that window. Let's kill it off and just see what's happened. So if I shut that down, our frames go right up to 60 frames per second. It's limited at 60 on my system. I've limited it. Add new render window, and we're down to 2930. So as for what I can see, you've got the view right in front of me, but my view to the left is here. Okay, and this is the view I've got right in front of me. So left-hand monitor in front of me. Now, you'll also notice that we've got some offsets that we can put in. Lateral, vertical and roll. If you've got monitors side by side and you want to look, say, out of your left window as you're flying, if you change this setting and bring it down to -90 degrees, I'll either manage to do it in one or we'll be here all afternoon. 90.3 will do. You'll see that it's now changed. So if I go to what's left, that's my 90-degree view. Now instantly this has opened up the feeling of immersion in the sim straight away, because I'm now looking around and seeing the activity that's taking place. Just to show you, so if I'm now on my main screen, but I'm sticking with the left-hand screen on my OBS here. So if I move, there we are, this is me moving here. So as you move around, you get an idea. As I'm doing the lateral rotation, it's moving quite nicely for me, and I've got a good idea of what's happening. So there's our lateral. We've got vertical as well, so you can come up, you can come down, but I want to keep it, all my three screens, the same. Roll rotation offset is obviously kind of your roll left and your right if you want to do that. So yes, that's what the controls are doing on just the one screen. If I add a new window, we'll just take a look and see what happens here. So add a new renderer window. Okay, you can't see it. It's automatically done it to where it was set before, but I'll show you the window. You can see as well. So it's window 1. This is window 2. And again, it's saying it's in 4K. I don't want it in 4K, so I'm going to change the size of the window to 1920 by 1080. I mean, actually, I've worked out it just sticks in. It seems to stick in 4K. So if I drag that across, so you can see, there's my window there. Don't forget, same little hint again. If you go down to the bottom, we've got window 1 and window 2. I can move that across here. Okay, and I don't know about you, but as far as I can see, this is all in 4K. I'll show you again later. If you put that in 1080p, you'd see it straight away on a 4K monitor. Anyway, so I'm going to increase this time. I'm going to increase the offset for the rotation, so I get a 90-degree view here. There we go. So, just to show you what I've now got, center sim, left hand, right hand view. So I've now got 3 screens. So what this has first given me is a real sense of immersion. This is a game changer for the sense of immersion that I've got, because when you look at the main screen, when you're changing your settings or whatever, and you're looking at the hanger in the background, it's difficult to focus on anything else. So this is really good. I've got a real wraparound effect here. I'm going to apply and save that. Do bear in mind what I'm expecting is for our frame rates to really drop as I apply and save these, because we're only on 15 frames per second. So add 2 windows, making sure all your screens are attached to the graphics card. I'm on about 15. That is going to drop drastically. There's another feature that we're going to add into the mix as well, and that is the super sampling. I may as well do that in the same video. So I'm going to apply and save that just to be safe at the moment. And then we're going to go back to graphics. So this is really a 3-screen super sampling video more than anything else. Notice I'm on ultra, not mucking around here, and just for the moment. And people have been saying, how do I find the Nvidia settings? They're within the anti-aliasing, and the Nvidia DLSS is if you can scroll through it. So what's DLSS? Effectively, it's new technology that's available to you, software that's available to you if you're using a GeForce 3 or 4 series card. And what Nvidia's done is it's enabling the card to insert frames by interpolating and learning the scenes that it regularly flies over, presumably. I don't promise to know. You can have a look at Nvidia's site. They claim a huge amount on this. I was a bit disappointed. I did think it made a difference with how smooth things were. It certainly seemed to remove stuttering. The extent to which you apply the DLSS ranges from quality to balanced to performance to ultra performance. And we won't look at this in detail. Well, if I get time, I will look at this in detail later. But effectively, I've found that I've just had it on quality. Okay, and I'm also here, so we're gonna put that on first. We're gonna have a look at this figure here. It's not actually having to re-render. Well, it is having to re-render. There are shadows that are appearing across the screen. So anyway, so we apply and save that, and yeah, as I kind of anticipated in this image, doesn't seemingly make a huge amount of difference. I'm actually looking at the frame rate here because I'm looking to demonstrate just the monitors. I'm going to drop down my quality to medium as well, and that should give us some chance of being able to observe what's happening. And okay, not really seeing even at medium, although we'll see what happens when we go back. A substantial increase in the frame rate. And then we're ready to jump into the sim. So here I am. I have jumped in the H145, one of my favourite aircraft, but also I like it because it gives a really good blend of instrumentation and scenery. The first thing that I can see is that as I zoom in, and I have on the left and right hand monitors, I have the world appearing as well. So I'll just sort of show you that. So my right hand monitor is over here, and as I'm zooming, it's a bit sluggish, but as I'm zooming in and out, there we go. And as I move around, I'm moving the world now. So on my main map at the center, there you go, that's me moving the world. And left hand screen is similar, but in a bit more darkness. So there's our left hand screen there. So if I move along, far enough, you'll see the UK appearing. There we go. Not getting any airports on that screen, but yeah, interesting. Again, much more immersive, and of course you just see me move that and watch those frame rates take a hit. So we're going onto the main sim again. There we go, and we've got 20 frames per second. So this could be interesting. Don't forget, I moved down to medium settings. I'm going to go to an airbase that I know very well. That is a Microsoft Flight Simulator airbase and not an add-on, but it will give me enough I know to be able to look around and demonstrate. So let's go to Wittering, RAF Wittering, just outside Peterborough. Okay, so as I anticipated, in fact it's a bit smoother. Don't forget we've got the DLSS set on. It's a bit smoother, believe it or not, than I thought it would be than when I was playing back with last night. Give it some time just to catch up, but here we go. There's our H145. We'll jump right in and see what things look like, shall we? Actually, we're on 18 or 19 frames per second, which, given what we're doing, and actually my thoughts, which is that we are actually got 3-screen on 4K, is not bad. And I speak of somebody who's done this regularly with X-Plane 11 and X-Plane 12. So left-hand view, just so that you can see what's happening, is here on my left-hand screen. Right-hand view is here. And the first thing you notice, I found this is very helpful, is that I would usually be in this kind of position. I would think that this was sitting upright and looking forward in the aircraft, but you can see by the way that the co-pilot's sitting that no, that's not the case. So immediately I've got some immersion and greater realism here. So if I just move this screen, oh sorry, there we are. If I move this screen to around about here, you find that I'm going to get a faithful image of what is left and what is right. So here is left now, and here is right. So immediately what this has done is given me an understanding of my sort of position within the aircraft that I'd taken for granted before. So yes, now one thing, it works there. I did have a little bit of problem with the H145. I think it must be making sure that the screen that you're looking at is active, because you can switch round the active screens, and if you do that, you'll find that you have to double click, or you haven't got for the screen to come alive again. Controls are a little bit sluggish, but we'll see where we're at. So we're at 10, 12, 13, 14, up to 20 frames per second on the ground, and we are on medium settings. Well, I'll stick with that for the moment. This is a great improvement in terms of immersion. So I'm just going to take the helicopter up. Okay, increase, and we'll just lift up, and we'll have a little bit of a scout around. There we go. So since I'm off the ground, things looking relatively smooth. I'm just looking here, I'm concentrating on two things. Now the DLSS is on the easiest setting, or the lesser setting, so it is a little bit sluggish. 14, 15 frames per second. It's a little bit sluggish on medium. But think about what we're asking the sim to do. Okay, and now I'm away from looking necessarily left and right. I'm going to switch across and show you the left-hand view now. So this is the left-hand view. There we are.
100 feet.
16, 17 sluggish, not exactly looking like butter from where I am, but still. I'll tell you what's interesting me is that if I drop this down a screen, I think we're somewhere, so that opens up the kind of dual screen setups. So this is Microsoft, very much standard scenery. I'm just going to go right here so you have a look about my, just bear with me, and I'm just going to put this in stable configuration. There we go, or try to. Okay, we're going to have a look at the right hand screen. There's my right hand screen there. And okay, not much happening now at the right screen, obviously, but at least it's a faithful rendition, and as usual I've kind of managed to, when it comes to the main sim, managed to drop myself down again. 18, 19 frames per second. Now bear in mind that my super sampling isn't at the kind of really aggressive level. We're just on medium settings, but we may well go and try that. So I'm just going to turn, just going to move, see what a turn looks like. It's bearable, I can live with this, but this is a massive improvement for the sim. Left-hand views there, right-hand view down here as we make the turn, and main view here. So yeah, really different. 19, 20 frames per second over standard. Although this is Orbix, yeah, this will be Orbix True Earth. So it has. This is not purely Microsoft Flight Simulator. So okay, let's just have a little bit of a play with this. Sure, I understand if you want to just disappear off now because you may well have got just the bits of information that you needed. I'm just going to escape from this and we'll have a look at some of the other options. So it seems to me that our options are, and the sim is a little bit sluggish, that we could move down the DLSS. But when I experimented with DLSS today, I found that even if I moved it to ultra performance, now what's going to happen here, what I noticed with the ultra performance is that first thing, things look a lot smoother, but secondly the instrumentation looks absolutely rubbish. So we can go to ultra performance on DLSS and apply that and just see what we get out of that first. So let's go back now and let's resume and see if it's benefited us. Now you can see what I'm saying about the quality of the instrumentation. I can still work my way around the instrumentation, but it's certainly not really impressing me that much. So you're always going to have a payoff. And the frame rate's about 17, but then we've just come out of a heavily populated area. So this is very aggressive DLSS. Right, okay, let's just have a look and see what else we might be able to do, just as we have a bit of a play. Okay, so I'm going to switch that down to quality again. Or balanced. No, we'll stick on quality. And then, okay, my other option is to drop down the detail levels here from medium to low. Let's just see what happens though. Quality and low end. Although you wouldn't really want to be on low because you want to show off all the bits of scenery you've got. So let's just see quality and low what we get. I can see a jump up in the actual dialogue here, but so this has not really made a huge amount of difference. 18, 19, 20, not really. 18, 19, 20. We're not talking. Nvidia talked about the DLSS making huge differences. Nothing like this. So yeah, let's come out of that. This is ultra on 3 screens. No, it's 10 varying between, well, you can see on top right, you can see it varying and jumping 5 to 11 and very chunky. Not particularly playable. If you just want a view to the left, here we go. This is what we've got on the left hand side and this is what we've got on the right hand side. So yeah, obviously it's got its limits. Everything in life has its limits. So yeah, okay, let's have a look at, as a final thing we're going to have a look at is, not everyone's got the luxury of 3 screens, and actually this could well be a game changer for 2 screens. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take one of the screens down and we'll see how that affects things. Okay, so once again, general options. Experimental. You've got this add new window. We don't need any more. We'll take away the left hand window. Just estimate that. Apply and save that. Let's go back. I'll keep the settings the same and resume the flight. And immediately you can see there 20, 25 frames per second. So you start adding on a 3rd monitor screen, then that's going to really impact things depending on your system. But what I really do like about this is that if you are flying circuits, for example, it's really helpful to be able to have a constant view out of the left-hand window or the right-hand window most circuits I've flown are left-hand circuits, and that means that you can see the runway, which is one of the key things, judging the runway and judging the space. So there's what's left here, and that's what I've got straight ahead, nothing on my third monitor. Images look a lot clearer, 2020 to 26. I'm actually going to respawn here, and we'll have a look at a really demanding airport. We'll go to London, see what happens there. Okay. Okay, folks, same settings. We are in London. And taking a while for things to go from around 16, 17 frames per second. A little bit sluggish looking round. Just a reminder of the settings that we have got. Let's just move in, just check stuff. I am pausing and then re-recording. So we are on quality for Nvidia DLSS. We're on medium settings, which is a bit of a downer really, because with all this beautiful Orbix scenery, I would prefer it to be on high or ultra. And but we'll see. And the other thing is that I'm not running photogrammetry at the moment on my data. So photogrammetry is switched off. That's because if you're using Orbix, it just ruins it basically. So we'll just resume where we are, and why not, we'll just move and just control things a little bit. So 18, 19 frames per second, which is really not bad. And I'm operating on 2 screens. So just as soon as I manage to sort this out. Oversized aircraft. I'm not sure, there's an additional package that will be slowing me as well, but the principles will be the same no matter what you've got in your sim. Left hand side, I've got there, a bit juddery. The airport is always an absolute killer for frame count, and this isn't the best in the world. I'm wondering whether the super sampling will improve. There's a lot of juddering there. But once we just get moving, 15, 16. Sorry, I've even left you on the main sim. So this is me in the main sim here. Since found that this is more or less level, so when you go back to the left-hand side, you see the pilot straight up. 12, 13 frames per second, so medium. And if this scenery goes anything like the other sceneries that have gone by, 18 here now. But it is lovely having the second screen. It's amazing. I'm just wondering if I fly back in or around. Oh, that was nice. There's some nice graphics here. Things are popping out still. I'm wondering if I fly around, which is what I'm going to do. Whether it's learnt anything. The scenery's pretty full, to say the least. Left-hand screen just looks lovely, just looks really nice, amazing in fact. You obviously won't have seen the Thames barrier, and you have to produce these objects as close up, but I'm just wondering if a second run round of the airport improves things. You see how that secondary just makes all the difference anyway. And when I'm using the 2 screens, if I just click and drag, I can see, right, on my screen I'm looking directly at on my main screen now I'm looking directly at the co-pilot, but of course I'm looking behind there, so the screens move. Well, what we're doing, let's look at the instrumentation. Hang on. So yeah, I did want to come round. So we're 16, 17 now. And we'll fly through the airport again. Right, you're seeing what I'm seeing on my main screen now. Very smooth, the movements. (16, 17, 18). What is that jumbo jet doing? Scenery's full, drops to 12, 11. Thing is that there's no point, you know, it's great buying the scenery, but if you're not seeing all of the scenery because your system's not up to it, it's a bit of a disappointment, really. But there we go. 16, 15's not bad at all. There's your left-hand view again. Okay, folks, so yes, there we go. I think there's enough for you to play with and tell me what you get up to. So, yeah, in other words, what's the conclusion? 3 monitors will absolutely kill your system. I'll just do that to finish it. You're looking at, I'm running a 3080 with an i9. You are looking at, a loss in frame rate when you have use another screen, obviously, but it's workable, it's doable. Here I'm on medium settings and I'm using DLSS at the highest level. I'm interested. I'm disappointed that obviously I'm not able to do this in ultra, but you can't have everything in life. And just as we move forward and fly down the Thames here, I will sort of start experimenting just a little bit more to finish off with. But if you want to leg it now, if you haven't already, that's fine. Thank you for your patience. Hope this is helpful, and let me know what things look like on your system. Okay, 18, 19 frames per second, which is not bad, and above all, it's looking smooth. So yeah, lovely, beautiful, beautiful Orbix scenery here. Okay, take care, folks. I'm going to go, and if you can hang around if you like, and see what happens if we add a third monitor onto this right now for where we are. Oh dear, this is going to end badly. Okay, so let's escape in here. And oh, by the way, you might have just seen some pulls in the difference. When I noticed when I turned the DLSS right up, the frontage of some pulls didn't appear, so you do lose some scenery for definite. Right, let's go here. General options again. Because we're totally mad. We're on medium, and we're going to go down to experimental. We're going to give ourselves that third window, and that's the other thing, is that if they can sort out this rendering of the windows so that it's 1920 by 1080 and you have 3 screens at 1920 by 1080, then that's going to be so much the better. The only thing I can think of doing is trying to what I haven't changed is having the main screen 1920 by 1080 get them to match. But that said, only window rendo to start. That's fixed from what it was before. We'll apply that and we'll watch ourselves sink slowly. Let's see how bad this is. This is going to be really bad. Oh, 11, 12, not horrific. So just to show you what I've got now. You can see the scenery rendering there. So we're flying here, left hand, right hand view. Bit choppy to say the least. 11 or 12 frames per second right hand view. Clearly sort of struggling there. Left hand view. Not really playable. Let's see what happens if I just move those settings down to the graphics settings down. I'm pretty convinced that the DLSS is not going to make a huge difference. We may as well try that first. Let's go into ultra performance. It will kill the look of the scenery. But let's just try that. Go back. Resume. So yeah, we've got 11, 12. We've got 11 frames per second, and it's not particularly smooth. There's our main sim. So yeah, the DLSS hasn't really made a difference here. Let's go back and put that onto optimal then, or quality. Right, and then let's see what happens if we drop the quality down to low end. I really don't like doing this. Okay, so this is low end, and again, it's not really made much difference. 12, 11. I'm going to circle because we had all kinds of different graphical effects before. So this is low end, and I'm not really seeing a significant difference between low end and medium. Try it again on the live. I'll put it on high actually. It's high settings, let's just give it some time to settle. DLSS on quality. I think we've got 3 4K screens here. There's no way that you're telling me that the left or right hand screen aren't 4K. So yeah, it's poor in terms of, let's just have a look, left hand screen. Okay, something's not right there. Just looking to OBS, and OBS hasn't got a problem. It's clearly run into difficulties here. 3 monitors again. Okay, folks, well that's it, I think. And take care, stay safe. And the one issue, the one final thing to look at is just, why can't I get this 1080p across all 3 screens? I mean, it will look less good anyway because that's imposing a non-native resolution on a 4K screen. But yes, my general option for a resolution was 1920 by 1080, but it's just not showing. I'm still getting quite clearly 4K. So yeah, so 3 screens, medium settings, DLSS if you're using Nvidia on quality is workable but not great. 2 screens when you are have the same settings is much more workable. That's what a 2-screen setup is giving me. 17 frames per second and an image to the left. My right hand monitor I can use for Navimat, Navigraph, whatever. Lovely and smooth. And as for using different size screens, doesn't really seem to be having a significant, doesn't need to be seem to be as obvious when you use X-Plane 11 or 12, and I've had different sized screens, same resolution, it's always jarred, but this doesn't somehow. It feels seamless. So yeah, excellent. So getting 20 frames per second, 2 monitors on medium settings, DLSS is quality, and yeah, great addition to the sim. So enjoy. There's my left hand view, there we are, and we can just quite happily skim round to the left here and see. So yeah, quite impressed with that. Okay, take care folks, stay safe.